I don't know. There's some inconsistency there that I'm hesitant to start yet because I feel like it could be, kind of like I want to do it for the long term. You know what I mean? So doing one or two to me is not really, like, I don't want to fool with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not really worth it.
I gotcha.
Is that annoying you?
No, I just want to slide it over.
I mean, it kind of doesn't slide well, but you can do it. It doesn't slide well, Brandon. Okay.
All right, we'll just leave it.
These 58s are so much better than the SM for this room.
Yeah.
Like I've always fought the noise, and I was like, why? Why do so many podcasters? I've noticed some podcasters use these.
Mm-hmm.
Some podcasters use the 57s or the SM7s, and I think if you're in a controlled location with like a studio that has like proper venting where the air conditioner doesn't blow like, crazy, and there's proper grounding, that type of environment that's quiet, you can use an SM7 and it's the best.
Yeah.
It's great. It's better response than this, but in a regular house or doing it on location, it's the worst because it picks up fucking the whole room. It doesn't block. These are whatever hypercardioid, as opposed to the SM7. The capsule is like way down inside, and it's like completely open to the whole. It is directional, but it doesn't cancel as well as this does in a noisier room.
Oh, okay.
So in a room with any noise floor, anyone doing podcasts, I suggest an SM58 or something like it. But, having a couple extra 58s around is not bad for comedians,
Right. I like mine, man. My SM7, I like it a lot. We got it for our podcast, and the room that I do it in, it's completely isolated.
Okay.
There is no air vents. There's the cheap Amazon foam, sound deflectors all over the walls.
That's what I got in my room too.
Yeah, it works out just fine.
It does. It's amazing what those what are they called? The diffusers, the foam.
Yeah.
I mean, they really that room, my music room office back there. If you're like ever mixing anything or at any kind of loud volume, it's super. I don't know. It would just echo.
Yeah.
And then it would actually start to, the resonance of the room would build up so much, and like other guitars would start, like the acoustic guitar would start vibrating and like howling, and then some of the other guitars, like you couldn't hear them, but there was just a lot of shit going on. So that adding those things, I'd like to get some nice ones, like the ones that you build out of 2x4.
Oh yeah. I bought a bunch of those like 1x1s. If you've seen, people make like a 2 foot by 4 foot that they hang on the wall, and they just cut them at different angles, and then glue them to the board. And it's almost like a piece of art, but it somehow deflects the sound waves in multiple directions.
You said 1x1, like
1x1, like it's like 8 foot long, but it's just a square 1x1. 8 foot long piece of wood, and they take them and just cut them at all different types of angles, and then they glue them to the board.
They're like almost they're square.
Yeah.
Those things look expensive as fuck.
Yeah, but it's super cheap to make.
Oh, you make them?
Yeah. Because that board, that 1x1 by 8 is like $2 or $3. Well, that's pre-COVID. It's probably like $100
and you just cut them
now.
You just randomly cut them, right?
Yeah. So you just
matter.
On the saw, you just cut and then change the angle. Cut, change the angle. Cut. You want the bottoms to be flat, but then the side that sticks out into the wall is just at a 45-degree angle. So then when you glue, or whatever angle you choose, so then when you glue them to the board, you just turn them in different directions, so the angles are pointing in different ways.
Wait. I'm gonna remember to put this up on the screen, because there may be some people who don't know what we're talking about, but this is interesting. So it's in a studio. I'll put one up on the screen, but they have these wooden things, and they're cool looking, but they serve a purpose, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but I don't understand what you're saying. Could you not just cut them all flat, but just at different lengths? Why do you have to cut them at an angle? Like, what's?
I don't know. Maybe you could just do different lengths, but the ones that I've seen online that I was like, I want to hang one of these up, they were cut in angles.
So does the side? How do you attach it to the wall?
So the side you cut out a piece of wood that's 2 feet by 4 feet, like
plywood.
a piece of plywood.
Yep,
and then
it to that.
And then you just glue them in. So one side has to be flat.
Okay.
And then the other side could be flat. You could do different angles. I've seen that as well. But the one that I started making, they're cut at an angle on one side.
Hell yeah.
So you put it in, and you just like cut it straight, and then you turn it to an angle, slide the wood in, and then cut at an angle. And then push the wood in a little bit more, straighten it back out, cut it straight, pick another angle, cut it at an angle. And then you end up with like, I don't remember, it was like 50 of them.
Can you pull your mic like down out of your, you can drop the whole, yeah, there you go.
Boom.
Yeah, bam. Boom and bam. That's fucking cool. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to try that.
But you can paint them different colors. People use different patterns. They look if you look them up online, they look awesome. Just wooden diffusers.
My one of my really good friends, Ryan Stith. Shout out Ryan Stith.
Shout out to Ryan Stith.
You come on the podcast, you motherfucker. He's really good, and some of my other buddies from like my studio friends, they're good at like woodworking and things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to him about that because I love the way those look, and I was like, man, I'd love to afford some of that shit.
Oh, dude, it's really cheap actually.
And I guess you could. The ones I've seen look like they're stained really well. You know,
stain them, spray paint them, whatever you want to do.
I'm sorry. Here we go. That's awesome. I'm glad you told me that. I would have never even like thought that was.
Yeah. Now post COVID, wood is outrageous in price, so I have no idea what it would cost today. But 2 years ago, like $50, and you can make 2 of them.
That's still a lot, though. I mean, considering.
Not really. I mean, because if you get online and you order professional sound diffusers, you're going to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you're right.
So $50 and you make 2 of them.
Yeah, you're correct.
That's not bad.
But I still feel like it should be cheaper than $50, though. Wood is wood really that expensive now?
Well, in 2018, 2019, 2x4s here in Kentucky were like $3 a piece. Now they're $7 to $8.
Really?
Yeah, 1 2x4. Because people like me who during COVID were told you have to work from home now, and you can get away with a lot working from home.
Yeah.
So I remodeled my whole basement, just running to Lowe's and back. So like the whole country did that, and the demand went through the roof.
Oh,
so
yeah.
now it's outrageous in price.
Yeah, that was the escape.
Yeah.
If you were stuck at home with like kids and family or whoever, I remember that.
I think I'm gonna knock this wall down, honey. Why don't y'all stay on that side of the house?
Yeah. Don't get under here for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's load bearing or not.
That's right.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I know tons of people that have new hobbies. That's my sister. Hold on a second. Let me answer it. What's up? Hey, don't say anything. You're time out before you speak. You're right now on my podcast with my friend Brandon Austin. So
it's a family thing. I gotta talk to you. You're gonna have to call me later. I can't.
Wait, is someone dead?
No one's dead.
Okay, well then can it wait until like maybe 30 or 45 minutes while I'm done?
Yeah, of course, but I'm not going to tell you on the fucking podcast.
Why not? Is it about?
You're an asshole.
Is it about someone's penis?
John, I'm dead ass. Call me back later.
Dead ass, bro. Okay, bye. Sorry, that was my sister. That's her. That bust behind you. That's hers. There's a lot of shit in my house right now because I went to New York last week. And some of my sister and my brother-in-law's shit they didn't want to put in the truck. I went. And
where are they moving to?
Nashville.
Oh.
Yeah. So
going back home.
Going back home. Yeah. It's for Renato. That's my brother-in-law. It's not back home, but he was excited. You know, he's been in New York over a decade, I think, maybe longer. Actually longer, I think. But. I think they're both ready for, a change. And New York was, I hear and I'm one too, but like bigger metropolitan areas, especially New York and LA, you hear a lot of like crazy shit's happening. And there definitely was some crazier shit than in years past. Like, for example, it rained one day, and in the street, like the rain, like it came up, and it was maybe that's a normal New York thing, but I don't remember it being like almost like sewage after the rain. Like, it was disgusting. But maybe it's always been that, and I just didn't see it. But I feel like there was just from what talking to people that live there, it's kind of seems like there's not enough money to employ, or they're not, whatever. It depends who you ask. Some people are like, people don't want to work. I don't agree with that. People just, I think, realize what's worth it and what's not nowadays. So, What do you think about that? Like, you know how like McDonald's, for example, if you go to McDonald's at like 12 o'clock, like midnight, it's closed. McDonald's is no longer a 24-hour restaurant anywhere. But I think that's maybe good, personally. I mean, yeah, do I want to go get French fries at 2 o'clock sometimes? Yeah, because we're always out and doing shit.
Is Taco Bell still open late?
They are, but they're not. they're I think it depends. Like, there's a couple here in town. Some of them, I know the one over here on Harrodsburg, on Broadway in Lexington, is till 2. But there's another one somewhere that's 4, but there's one that's 11. So it just depends. They're not all always open. But I don't know. I think like maybe we don't. Maybe there's a limit to the convenience that we need. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Why did they do that? Why did they stop staying open late?
I think people just didn't want to risk. Probably they didn't want to risk working there for money. And then probably that caused people to think maybe about what they want to do.
I remember like when all this stuff started, and the government was giving out the money, and if you lost your job, then like if you got laid off because of COVID, then they were you were getting paychecks. However, all that worked. Are they even still doing that?
I don't know.
Yes, I don't know that either. Like, I heard that it was over, but there's now hiring signs everywhere. And when you go into places and wait in line, there's always some dude who's standing in line and is like, "Oh, I wish people come back and get their jobs. Don't nobody want to work, blah, 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 blah." And it's like, I've always waited in line everywhere I went. What's different now? And if people aren't working now, what are they doing? Because I don't know if they're even giving out money anymore.
I don't think they are. They're not. If they are, I'm not getting any of it. But I have a job.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get laid off. I was very fortunate in that regard. So,
yeah,
like, I didn't experience all of that. It's very bad for the people that did. But
yeah, my sister and brother-in-law, it fucked their world up, man.
Yeah.
Because they both work in industries that like took huge hits when it happened, and they couldn't for the most part do their job too much at home. But it evolved so that they could, and then eventually my brother-in-law was able to go back to he's a photographer. So it fucked a lot of people up, that it still recovering, still mentally, whatever, all the shit.
But like all these places that aren't hiring,
I don't know.
Where is everybody?
People are hiring. There are jobs.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I have to find a new job.
Well, there are places hiring everywhere.
So first, before that, look into my eyes and listen to my words. I'm quitting my job on August 19th. I have worked at this place for over a decade, and I make 6 figures. Okay? I don't want to do it anymore, and I want everyone to join my Patreon and help me not have to do it anymore. I swear to God, I will show you my butthole if I have to for $5 a month. Patreon.com/JohnBassComedy. That's it. I'll put some things up and I'll plug you later too. But yeah, I'm serious. I wanna. It'll be mainly for this podcast, which I don't really think has a theme, but I kind of want to go around to different places with friends I have like back home or different cities, and then do different episodes with my friends in those places. And I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. We'll figure it out. I'm sure it'll change, but that's kind of the thing I'm wanting to do, and like try and share that journey with. I don't know. I mean, there's probably way more interesting shit to do, but I think it's decently, mildly entertaining. So maybe some people do too. Anyway, I'll shut up about that. But yeah, I have to plug shit. You know how it is.
Yeah, man.
I need a sponsor too. Anybody's OnlyFans.
I take check. I take credit
Shout
card.
out Joe
I take
Gotti.
cash.
Joe Gotti, sponsor me. I will plug all the vapes and all the paraphernalia at your store, Joe Gotti. Just joking, but sorry, Brandon. So yeah, they're moving back, and I'm actually leaving tomorrow to go take this shit down there. So because they move in their apartment like this week sometime.
Okay.
So you should come down sometime and do the Nashville mics during the week.
I'm planning on it. I haven't been back to Tennessee probably since 2017 or 18.
Are you serious?
Maybe 2018, I think.
Really?
I think so.
Oh wait, because does your mom still live down there?
No. None of my family does. Just my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, my family. We all left at different times.
And it's Columbia, right?
Columbia, Tennessee.
Columbia, Tennessee. Shout out, Columbia people.
Yeah.
I think
whoop, whoop.
What
up, Diggs?
Who is that? Is that your friend?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to.
I got a ton of friends in Tennessee. That's probably like I love Tennessee. I grew up there. It was an awesome place to be. Kentucky is not really home, but I live here. But like Tennessee, like all my friends are there. Everything I know is there. It's a great place, man.
Yeah, it's fun. I have a few friends that are still there. I have a few friends that aren't. But I have, like my best friend's there. And soon my sister will be there, brother-in-law, all that stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah,
I'm talking about to some of my friends that live there about coming down next time I go visit, doing some of the mics in Nashville. When I left Tennessee, it's been 7 years now. So maybe 10 years ago, the open mic scene, at least my knowledge of it, was almost non-existent.
Yeah, I don't think it.
There were a couple places, but it was really difficult to get on. At least from my experience, it wasn't until I got actually here and lived like right around the corner from places that had open mics, and was like, wait, I can just walk in and do this now? Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why this shit is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't have any real opinion about the guy, but a lot of people don't like him. But like Chris D'Elia, when I was in Austin, I just went to the open mic at this club that they have open mics almost every night after shows or before shows. And he was just there, and he went up and did like 10 minutes. And the other night when we were at Louisville Comedy Club too, the Gabriel Rutherford, was it Rutherford? Shit. Gabriel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
I don't know, Radcliffe or Ratcliffe, but
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Or fuck.
That guy.
It's not. That's not it. It's Ridgeline.
Ridgeline?
Gabriel Ridgeline.
Does he drive a Ridgeline?
No, he's ridiculously famous, and it's kind of terrible that I can't remember his name.
I don't know his name, but I do know who you're talking about.
Gabriel Iglesias. Gabriel. It starts with an R. Rutledge. Gabriel Rutledge. Yes, he was really funny. And remember, he went up. Brandon and I went to the. Was it you and I? Were you there?
I didn't go that night.
That was Austin Vaughn. That was me in Austin. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're good.
Bad.
Yeah, they were posting pictures of him, and I was like, oh, dang.
Michelle Wolf's going to be there August 4th.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Fuck.
She's hilarious.
She has a new special out, and it's so good. Like, it's real good.
When did it come out?
I don't know. When I was driving home from New York, I listened to a bunch of specials.
Yeah.
And hers popped up, and I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, she's hilarious, man.
Yeah. I listened to a couple that were fucking awful. Like I didn't make it through the first 5 minutes. I mean, it's just not my thing. Like it's just not. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say who they were, but
well, sure. I mean, there are some comedians that just aren't entertaining.
To me, at least. But to some people, they are.
Sure.
You know, it's just. it's just like music, and I've started to realize that as I go. Like there are a lot of people. I love music, but the kind of music I listen to doesn't really appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And comedy's similar. There are way less genres in comedy than there are in music, obviously. But I get it. I get why people have different appeal to different audiences. It's So
there's Netflix will drop a special, and like I'll talk to a friend. I'm like, oh, you got to check out this comedian. He just dropped a special. It's hilarious. And then the next day they're like, I didn't like it. It's like, what? How could you not like it? It was great. It's like, I just don't like stuff like that. Oh.
You're talking about to another comedian?
Just to another person. Just another person listening. I'm discovering what you're talking about. Like, to me, there was like when Jeff Foxworthy was in his prime and he was touring all over the world. Everybody was a Jeff Foxworthy fan. Like, I never heard somebody say, "Well, I don't like Jeff Foxworthy."
That could also be because we grew up in Tennessee.
Touche. But all that I'm saying though is now that it's growing and there's comedians everywhere and there's specials coming out every week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The genre, the brand is just growing so fast that we are learning that there are different styles and different genres within comedy or whatever.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's a good one. Michelle Wolf. Mark Norman's going to be here the same weekend here in Lexington, so I'm going to try and go. I saw him do a set in New York while I was up there.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
He's great too, man.
Yeah. I forgot what it was. It was hold on, let me look. It was part of the Comedy Cellar. And it's on Tuesday nights. I think it's like a recurring one. Beautiful. The McLaughlin. Is it No, I'm sorry. It's Wednesdays. It might be Wednesday. Anyway, it's a mic that happens every week. I don't remember what it's called, but it's at a bar that's sort of adjacent to or close to the Comedy Cellar, and I think that bar is owned by the Comedy Cellar, but it's a different bar than the Comedy Cellar. It's called like Hat something. It's a long, weird, like kind of hacky name, but it's a really cool place. And anyway, my brother-in-law and I went there, and Mark Norman, we went because he was headlining. And whenever he's in New York, it seems like he headlines that one a lot. But anyway, we went and saw him, and he did the same amount of time really as everybody else. He had cards, he was working on notes. It was super cool to see like that level comedian come up with fucking cards. And pieces of paper and read off them and have a few of them not work and be like, oh shit. Like, it was very intimate. I mean, the room was probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 square feet room. Maybe. It was very small. So that's why New York's fucking awesome. Like, it's just like, fuck, man.
Did you go up anywhere?
I did. I went up 4 times. I went up at this place called Eastville, which I have a video. If I show you the video or the picture, the backdrop of Eastville says Eastville, and it's white tile, and then it has green tile, and it says Eastville. And it used to be, I think, in Manhattan, but it moved over to Brooklyn now. So the original one is gone, but they've moved there. But it's the same backdrop.
Okay.
I don't know if they made a new one or if they brought it over what. I don't know. But it was very cool, and the people there were super cool. Like, they were very not, I was like expecting to kind of get like not a very welcome vibe. Not the case at all. Everyone was fucking cool as shit.
Yeah.
So I did that one. I went to Broadway Comedy Club, which is like really close to Times Square. I did like a 3 p.m. mic with like 5 other comedians. It was, I was like, this is going to blow. But it was fucking fun. It was a lot of fun. Like, everyone was like super encouraging, and like, there was one guy, this crazy guy named Harold, who, he was nuts, but he was hilarious. He was screaming at the top of his lungs for everybody that went up. But it wasn't like annoying. Like, it felt nice, And everybody went up, and then there was a bunch of time left because there were only 5 of us. So everyone went up and did another 5, and that was a challenge, because I hadn't prepared another 5 really. I've basically been doing 5s for a while. So I had to try some new stuff. And then I did a place called the Producers Club, which is also in Manhattan, and it was all comics, and it was pretty wild. I definitely say it may, some of the folks that went up may be like in like the alt comedy scene a little bit, but it wasn't like that particularly. But then the last one I went to was in a place just like up the block from my sister's apartment called the Alligator Lounge, and they have one there on Thursday, and you get free pizza. And that was it was mostly comics, but again, none of them know me. Mm-hmm. So to me, everyone's is a new face.
Right.
So anyway, I wanted to get up there and really sort of work out what I'm gonna do this week in Nashville, because I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. You never know anything. So I just like to be prepared, and
sure.
I don't know. I think that kind of thing is good, especially because you can go somewhere else and really get a feel. Because when it's with friends, it's like, if it's just us, like, we like you, I like you, you like me. So like, it's almost like we can do no wrong sometimes. Because, you know, it's hard. I mean, I think we give good feedback, you know, to each other. Like, maybe you can work on this. But also, someone who doesn't know you, they don't owe you nothing. They don't owe you shit.
Right.
But, you know, we're all friends in our little group. So sometimes it's harder to gauge, for me at least, how I'm doing when I'm just around people that I know all the time. Yeah,
well, I think going to another city and just having all new crowds is great as well.
Awesome.
Because now no one's heard your material before.
No.
So, like, you can really judge it.
Fuck yeah.
You know?
I can't, yeah. Yeah, man. It's fun. I'm trying to think, what time is it? We're still good. I think we still got a little. We're at 26 minutes. That's fine. We'll do a short. It'll be a shorter one this time. I've been trying to keep them at an hour.
Yeah.
The one I did with Jenny went over a little bit, but
that's okay. Some of those podcasts get up to like Joe Rogan podcasts can get up to 3 or 4 hours long, and it'll take me a week to get through the episode.
Oh man, I usually listen to Rogan over the weekend, because that's when most of them come out, like later in the week, I guess. Some of them I don't listen to, like the ones where it's just like them talking about fighting and shit. Like if it's on, but I don't really give a fuck about fighting. It's cool, and those guys are badass, but I don't really care. And I don't know anything about it, and I'm not really interested in fights. So I don't even listen to those. But the ones with comedians I always listen to, especially the ones with comedians I like. But and any of the like weird scientist people, I like to hear about.
Oh, I love those. Those are my favorite.
They're so fucking weird. I like them. It's hard to. Do you ever find yourself? I find myself driving. I'm sure this must be a syndrome. We should coin it, like, or it needs a name, like where you're in public and you're driving around. You got your car. You're listening to Rogan in your car, but the windows are down, or you've got the volume up, but you come to a stop sign or a place that's, you know, populated, that people can hear what you're like. I'm like, turn it down. Just because I don't want. I mean, I shouldn't be that way, but I mean, so many people fucking hate him, and I'm
yeah.
I'm not trying to like be on his dick or nothing. And the people, there are some people who are like Rogan bros who are also like, who, you know, think that Elon Musk is like Muhammad or somebody. You know, he's just a fucking guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he can do no wrong. He knows about population control. But he's just horny, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
He just likes to fuck. And he needs an excuse. Like, are you an idiot? Like, just because someone's good at one thing doesn't mean they're good at everything. And you don't have to listen to him. I don't know. He's kind of a cock tease. He's an incredible person. Don't get me wrong. But, like, I don't think I don't know. Whatever. He just likes to fuck. That's it. He's horny. He likes to fuck. We don't need to, like, start listening to his, like, procreation thoughts. I mean, you can if you fucking want to, but I think that's dumb as fuck. He's just horny.
Yeah.
He's had 900 like wives and has 30 kids.
We're talking about Elon still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you know what I mean? Like, there's people be like, no, Elon's right. We've got to make more babies. I'm like, I don't think we do.
Oh, I didn't know that was his
motive. Yeah. Like, he's all like, we don't need we don't, like, he's not saying we don't need, he's not saying he's pro-life or anything, but he's saying we should have more kids, which we should. If you want to have a kid, have a fucking kid. But, like, there is such a thing as maybe having too many kids, you know?
Yeah.
I
think it all just depends on what you financially can handle.
Yeah, too.
And maturity, you know.
For sure.
You know, some people could probably have 10 kids and be fine, and some barely get by with 2, you know.
Yeah, I'm barely getting by with 2.
Yeah.
I'm joking. No, I'm glad. I don't regret my children. There are a lot of things I regret in life, and that I'm not proud of my life, but I'm like, those 2 are like for sure 2 things that I'm proud of. Like, you know what I mean? They've turned out to be pretty good people, you know?
That's good.
So, and they're not.
Unfortunately, not everyone can say that.
They're not total. I'm sorry. You know, I don't have all the blessings you may have, but I've been blessed with good kids. So, I'm glad. You know, I could have spawned a Damien, and maybe they are. Maybe they're just really good at. Maybe they're super evil, and they're just waiting to hatch, like some kind of, I don't know, like something from an anime or something, where it just all of a sudden pops out.
It just clicks one day.
Is that racist because they're half Japanese? That I said it may be like they don't even watch anime. Sorry, I'm really rambling here.
I don't either.
Neither do I.
I don't know.
When I tell people I lived in Japan, though, that's like the first thing they want to know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, did you, so you into anime? I'm like, not at all.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get over there? Are you like hentai? I'm like, no. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Those same people who ask me if I'm into hentai and anime and other Japanese shit are the same as my dad, who for 20 years of knowing my ex-wife and his own grandchildren, anytime there was a conversation about Japan, he'd be like, hey, guess what? We like sushi. And he would like whisper it like, hey, we went to sushi last night. It's like, Dad, shut up. Like, who cares? But he would never stop doing it. And he would say, my dad would always go, hey, watch this. And then he would say whatever he was going to say. But there was always a prelude of a watch this prelude. And he would be like, hey, and he would tell my daughters, he'd be like, hey, Audrey, Omi, last week we went to Yamamoto's in Lawrenceburg. We went to Yamamoto's in Lawrenceburg. And Audrey and Omi would be like, okay, Pop, that's cool. And he'd be like, hey, watch this. That Mimi, that's my mom. My kids call her Mimi. He's like, Mimi, she loves wasabi. He'd say that every fucking time. And they were like, okay. Like, what do you say? And then Mom's like, I like it. You know, she's just, further cementing my dad's random
racism.
Shit. Yeah, it's weird. He's crazy. When I got married in Japan, they have a thing. They have the hot springs, and like you get in and you're nude. You know, it's separated by not segregated. It's separated by gender.
Right.
So I think there are some that are communal, but it's like sectioned off, so all the water's connected, but there are these like walls that you can go around, and like from this side over is men only or women only, but out here is communal, and most people that go out in the communal area like have on it. They're in the water nude, but they have on towel. Like, I remember the company I worked for, that was one of our business outings. Like, one of our company outings was going there.
Yeah.
And everybody, I was like, nah, man, I'm not doing it. Like, I wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I eventually became comfortable enough to go. But anyway.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because like I went to my wife's from Japan as well, and like we got engaged and then went to Japan and met her family.
Okay.
And went on this like little road trip. So
okay, cool. Tell me about it.
So I've known her dad for like 2 days. And it's like, hey, let's go get naked and share this hot tub together. And I had the same reaction. I was like, I don't want to do that. That's just weird. And he got
just you two, or like there's a group. There's like a
no. It was just us.
Oh, just you and his. Oh,
yeah. So it was a public place. So there were some other people there. But it was just
you
like
went with
me,
him.
her, and her parents. So like
and
her and her mom
went to the ladies' side, and you and your
yeah,
that's what we did too. But it took me probably like a year to work up the courage to do it. I was like, okay, you don't have a big dick. We all know that, John. This is my internal dialogue. You do not have a big dick. Everyone knows this, including you. But it's not the worst. And statistically and stereotypically, you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I was fine. I was like above average in that. In any
Probably
place.
Stand out in that category.
I mean, my big fat ass and belly and tattoos probably stood out more than my dick.
Did you put the stickers on to
Fuck
cover
no.
them up? Oh, see, I got a tattoo on my back, and I had to put like this skin-covered
Fuck that.
like tattoo on there, or the skin-covered like sticker over my tattoo before I got in.
I remember people looking at me. I have a Doraemon tattoo. Do you know Doraemon?
Mm-mm.
It's like he's like a character. It's like a robot cat from the future. It was a pretty cool cartoon. I'm not into cartoons, but I did like that one. Anyway, I have that, and I have a couple more, but nobody ever said shit to me. Like, if they would have, I'd have been like, I'm already here naked, dude. I'm not putting on a fucking...
Right.
Fuck you. Like,
yeah.
But also, where I was, I don't know. I think there were... In the city I was in, there's like more tattoo culture. There's a lot of tattoo culture in the city that I was in,
and there's growing over there. For
and
sure.
there's also a lot of onsen culture. That's what they call it.
Yeah,
onsen, the hot springs. There's like in where my kids were born and my ex is from, and where I lived. It's in Kyushu, all the way in the south.
Mm-hmm.
And in the south, they have a ton of hot springs that are natural.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many places to go that there are options for you. But in the north or in places where they don't occur as much, it's harder to have one. And then if they don't have a natural one, they'll just have artificial hot. They'll just have a bathhouse, basically.
Yeah.
It's hot spring. It's the same thing, but or actually, it's not. There's a different name. It's called Sento, I believe. And I think that just means maybe bathhouse. I don't know exactly what it translates to. But yeah, no one said shit to me. But
yeah, we did one. It was in the same town. The hotel we stayed at was built on a hot spring, so it had its own private one, like on the bottom floor.
Isn't she from what part? Nagasaki?
She's from Nagasaki.
Okay, yeah, they've got a ton of it there too.
And this was in the Fukuoka prefecture, though. And so in the same day we did two. So the first one I was fine with. Like, you're nude, but they bury you in the sand. And the sand is heated by the volcanic activity, so you just like lay there in the sand.
And this was in Fukuoka too?
Yeah, not in the town. It was out in the country.
Okay,
in the southern part of the prefecture, and they give you like a little towel to like wash with. Mm-hmm. So and like a robe or whatever. So I go into the changing room and I hung my towel up on like the counter next to the sink, and I stripped down and I put my robe on and I put my clothes in the locker, and then I went back to get my towel, and this other gentleman that was in there was like drying his balls off with it. So I just didn't get a towel.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah. I think when I saw what was happening and my towel was gone, he kind of looked up at me and I was like, I don't want it. And so I didn't get a towel. But yeah, so then we just went and laid in hot sand, and I didn't understand that, but it was a thing.
So when you say that, okay, because you said the south part of the prefecture, how far south on that island were you? Because I'm wondering if you didn't go to where I used to live, because the sand spa that they have there, is what year did you go? 2017?
2018.
Okay, so the bullet train goes all the way from Fukuoka all the way down now to Ibuski, which is in like almost to the end of Kyushu, way down there. And there's a volcano.
Is that further south than Nagasaki?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we didn't even get to Nagasaki.
I guess they have something similar there. Because the Kyushu's full of, like, volcanic activity. It's crazy there.
Yeah, we went on, like, this little road trip, and I wish I could remember the towns that we stayed at. I'm still not good with Japanese, the language, but there was a...
Just call it Nintendo or something.
Yeah. There was a festival that we went to.
Uh-huh.
And until we left, I was the only white person there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like, I've never been in a situation like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I grew up here, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, when we would go places, like, because we landed in Tokyo, so while we're walking around, you know, yes, I do kind of stand out a little bit, but there are all nationalities there in, you know, different parts because it's a hub in Japan. It's one of the biggest cities in the world. And so people are traveling and going, and that was fine. But when we got out in the country, it was a totally different ball game. And it wasn't until we were going out to the car that this, like, hipster couple walked in, and we made eye contact, and it was like, another one.
Another one. Yeah, the town I lived in, Kagoshima, is probably 500,000 or 600,000 people. Then, I don't know how many now. But there weren't that many foreign people there. Like, there were... Well, I say foreign people, non-Asian foreign people, because there were tons of other Asian foreign people there.
Sure.
But they don't stick out as much. It's true. All right. We all know why, because we look different. It's fine. But anyway, but every now and then I'd see, like, another person, like, in the grocery store or something, and I would just stare at them because I had forgotten... Like, you start to forget what you look like. When you see people around you that look a certain way, and then it's like you forget. And so because Japanese people, you know, are very similar, like, at least not very similar. That sounds racist as fuck. But you know what I mean? Japanese people they're not mixed like we are as much.
Right.
So...
Yeah, the U.S. is made up of all kinds of different people, whereas in Japan, there's Japanese.
Japanese, that's it.
You know,
and it's fine. That's just the way. That's their thing. Whatever. But when I would see another foreign person, I'd be like, "Look at him," and I would just stare at him, and then I'd be like, "Stop!" He's like, "You're probably from the same place he is, or something." You know, I mean, like, obviously Anglo-Saxon looking dude. But yeah, it was weird to be, I guess, a minority.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were ignorant ass people. Like, I had people try and fight. I would always have, like, younger guys try and fight me and shit.
Really?
Yeah, just because, like, I'm foreign and they want to, like, show out. They're like punk. They're like trying to be like gangsters or whatever. They're probably fucking high on shabu, which is like the original methamphetamine that Japanese people invented, and I don't know if they invented it or the Nazis. One of the World War II people invented it, but idiots, and they're try to step to you, and I'll be like, I'll fucking kill you right now, you little bitch! Like, just the tiniest little twerpy ass, like, little shitheads, and if you step back to them, they just, like, run away most of the time.
That's so, like.
Not all the time. Sometimes
Japanese culture, though, like, because they're very quiet and reserved.
Not
and
the dumb
respectful.
ones.
Not the dumb ones.
Not the dumb ones. Not the ones who hang out at night a lot, like I did. I mean, I did music over there too, so I ran into some underworldly type of people over there. Like, I had a lot of friends who they weren't connected to the mob or anything, but like
no Yakuza.
No, but a lot of my friends were tatted up, which is odd for a Japanese person.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were small business. Like, a couple of my friends owned Kubo and Show. I can't remember. I've forgotten all these guys, but they owned, like, shops and tattoo parlors, and, like, they were smart. They knew what they were doing, but they just chose a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they're pretty fucking punk rock. Like, they were legit, like, for real. Like,
that's awesome.
And but sometimes running in those circles, you'd run into people who aren't necessarily cool.
Yeah.
Who are, like, whatever. So I never really got into anything, really. But oh my god, forget to fucking... I might have forgotten to push it, but it's probably recording the stereo version. It's fine. It records the stereo. It records the stereo bus. I forgot to push arm on the 2 tracks, and I have a sticker to remind me, and I forgot. When the power cut off, it's fine.
This was a good practice.
No, it'll
episode.
work. I have the stereo on it, so it's fine.
Do you miss living in Japan?
Sometimes, but probably no. Like I don't miss living like in. It was very stressful, like living and things were very, at times, inconvenient.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like being in New York for a week, that's what it feels like. Living in Japan and living in New York are very similar. I'm sure living in Tokyo is maybe more hectic, but like it's similar. Or a bigger city, I guess. It doesn't have to be New York, but a dense area.
We've talked about like if like her job, if they ever send her to Japan for a time, long period of time, would we go or not?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of an open-ended question. Not really sure at this, right now, but definitely intrigued by the idea.
Fuck yeah!
It could be cool to. I'm all about visiting long term. That's when it becomes the But I mean, we were there for 10 days, I think, and it was awesome. It's probably the coolest trip I've ever been on, just because everything was new. Everything was new,
Oh yeah, I remember the first time I went, and it was just like, what is this amazing land of weird snacks and like.
Exactly.
All the girls were pretty much hot for the most part. Like, I mean, I know you couldn't. I know you probably can't comment on that. I can now because it doesn't matter. But yeah, Japan was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was fun. I mean, I'm glad I moved back because it just, I don't know. I'm just glad I moved back. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. It's definitely more comfortable to be here because this is where we're from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it did take me a while to like assimilate back to America though. It took me like probably a year to really be like, okay, I'm home now.
Yeah.
Like and not feel like weird.
Like you watch those videos on social media where they talk about like you can leave your cell phone on the table and no one will steal it, or no one throws their trash in the street. They put it in the actual cans. And when you ride up escalators, everyone moves over to one side so people in a hurry have a place to go.
Oh, I do that still.
Well, when I got to Japan, I was like, oh my God, all of that was true. Like, this place is clean. Everyone's nice.
Yeah.
No one's stealing anything.
No.
I could leave my computer open and it'll be here when I get back.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Because I remember one time shopping, my ex left her wallet. Like, we had, both our kids were tiny and we were struggling to like get out of the damn thing. And her pocketbook, or her little wallet, she left in the top of the buggy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got outside and she was like, oh shit, I left my wallet. And I was like, okay. And I ran back inside and I got to the back where the buggy return was. And I saw this unassuming, sweet-looking old lady see the wallet. I watched her. She grabbed the wallet, took it, and put it in her bag and walked away. And I was like, hey, give me that wallet right now. That's mine.
Mm.
We just left it here. And she was like, and she gave it to me. But probably having me, a weird foreign guy scream at her, probably scared the fuck out of her. She probably never talked to a foreigner before.
Sure.
She didn't look like she was a very well-to-do or anything. She didn't look like she had money. Obviously, she didn't. She was trying to steal it.
Yeah.
So,
but like I saw people just leave stuff on tables and walk away and come back, and just being in a coffee shop and seeing somebody do that.
It's way safer.
But it just, I was like, you would do that? Like,
yeah.
I take my laptop places, I carry it everywhere with me. I don't leave it in the car.
Fuck no.
Like,
no, hell no.
You know what I mean? So it just felt strange. And then like we land in the States and we're going back to the airport and the lines are painted on the escalator and the floor that moves. I don't know if that's called an escalator too, but like the the part of the floor that works like an escalator and helps you get from one area of the airport to the other.
What do they call that? A floor escalator?
Yeah, the non-stair escalator.
Because it doesn't escalate.
Exactly.
It
yeah.
Forelator.
The forelator. Yeah, so the forelator is...
The floorelator.
The floorelator is painted stand walk.
Yes.
And nobody cares. People are leaning over on different sides.
Are you talking about here?
Here in the States, they got their back. And I've never even noticed that before. I've never even looked at what was painted on it. I don't even care. Like, I stand here and I wait, and if no one's in front of me, then I walk. But going to another country and seeing how everyone... And I got on the escalator, and I don't know, and my wife's like, move over. I was like, what does it matter? She's like, there are people that need to get past us, and we're standing, so we give them space to walk.
Yeah, it's like the passing lane on the interstate.
Yeah, and which obviously no one here cares about. But I do. But I was like, that's amazing. Yeah. And then I come back and immediately get off the plane and see it, and I was like...
Idiots.
Yeah, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I think sometimes people in America might confuse the inability to follow any rules with like individualism, but that's not true. They're just retarded. No, I'm serious.
Think we just don't care. I think
everyone's just really inconsiderate.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, people are unbelievably just inconsiderate all the time.
Yeah.
And for someone who likes manners, I know I'm a dork, but I really enjoy it when people are polite.
Sure.
And I think that's why I love Japan so much, is because I grew up where, like, I had to be polite to people.
Yeah.
Like, that was part of my childhood. And maybe that's performative and stupid and, like, antiquated, but whatever. It's
Southern hospitality.
Yeah, it is. And if you treated people bad, like, I never... It just wasn't an option. I just saw my whole family, my parents. That's how you treat people. No one ever told me you need to do this. I just watched everyone around me act that way. So that's just how I act. But sometimes and I think I do it sometimes, and it puts people off. They're like, why are you being nice to me? I'm like, because I'm just nice. Like, I don't want anything from you. I don't need anything from you. I'm just being polite or trying to help if I can help, you know. But a lot of people are assholes, and they confuse, the American individualism and American spirit of freedom. They think that completely disobeying even logical rules, like the one we're talking about, like, nah, I'm not doing that shit. Well, fuck you then. Those are the type of people who get their foot cut off because they're wearing stupid fucking Crocs or whatever.
Yeah.
No offense if you got your foot cut off, but I don't know. I love America. Don't get me wrong. That's why.
Sure.
That's why I bitch about it so much. Is because people drive me crazy, and I drive people crazy.
Yeah.
That's why we're fun.
Yeah.
America's a bitch. Yeah. Japan ruled though. I do miss it. I want to go back next year. Actually, I want to go back, and I want to do stand up because I know in Tokyo, especially, I bet in Osaka, because that's where Japanese comedy is sort of the hub. Like it's called manzai, which is their version of stand-up. It's stand-up. It's a little more rehearsed, I'd say.
Would you do it in Japanese?
No. I couldn't anymore. I would go do it for English speakers, because there's so many fucking English. Even they don't have to be Americans, like Brits. There's tons of Australians.
Yeah. Tons
of Australians and New Zealanders, Kiwis. A lot of Indonesians who they're Filipino, a lot of people whose native language is English, or they've learned English. They understand a lot of English context.
Well, and the business language around the world is English. It's the common language that you use to communicate.
For sure.
So I found being there that more people understood basic communication
for sure.
than I expected.
They definitely, Japanese people, one thing I think that is good that I wish that America, like, there's a beauty to the states' rights thing, and there's a freedom there that doesn't exist everywhere else. Like, for example, with Roe v. Wade, if they make it illegal here or in Tennessee, some people may move and some people don't have the option. But that's just the dynamic of the states. But there, everything is sort of federal, I guess.
Yeah.
National, or I don't know if they say federal, but it's national. So education, public education, is standard across the whole country. And kids get to go for free. They do have to wear uniforms, which I think is stupid. But some kids like it because they don't have to worry about clothes.
Well, they ride the train like 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
To go to school. Like we got off the plane and I get on the train and we're like waiting. We pull up to a stop and I think there was a school in the district and all these children got on the train.
Yeah.
And then it just took off and I leaned over to my wife and I was like, "Where's their parents?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, why are these children in a big city by themselves? Aren't they afraid of getting raped or kidnapped or shot?" And she's like, "We don't do that here."
She's right.
I'm sure it does happen.
It happens.
But nowhere on the scale that it does here. And I was blown away.
Yeah.
Like, I was never allowed. I could ride my bike to my friend's house down the road, but other than that, no.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I lived out in the country, so, like, my closest friend was, like, 7 or 8 miles away. I'm not riding
Right.
on my damn dirt bike. I would be like, take me there.
Yeah.
Someone come get me. You're right. Yeah, we didn't do that. Yeah, for sure. Like my kids, I mean, this is a little extreme, but when they were, I think 5 or 6 years in a row. So from like age, my oldest one was maybe 8 or 9. Youngest one was 7. So from like 9 to 13 or 14, maybe there was one year they didn't make it, but I think 4 or 5 years we sent them to Japan. And most of the times they went over there, they went by themselves. We took them to like JFK or wherever, the international part of it. But then Megumi, that's my ex's name. I don't want to keep saying my ex because she's a person. I don't know, whatever. But Megumi, her parents or her mom or sister, someone would meet them at the international arrival spot, either in Tokyo or different. Every year was kind of different because we were, trying to find the cheapest deals. But
sure.
They would meet them there. One year I took them on my way to a business trip to Vietnam. I just dropped them in Tokyo, got them on their flight down there, and then I flew out to wherever the fuck I went.
That's awesome.
But then they came back alone a couple times. But they had a, what's it called?
Like a chaperone?
They kind of did, yeah. But like once you reach a certain age, you don't even have to have. You do, but it's less like strict. Like now, they could both go completely without. Well, I think you have to be 16, maybe.
I have no idea.
So, but my oldest one, Audrey, will be 18 in December, and my youngest will be 16. So, but I want to go back next year with them. I want to take them because I miss my brother-in-law. I don't know why. I just want to see him, and even though he's not really my brother-in-law anymore, but whatever. I miss him, and I kind of want to see some of my other friends.
Yeah.
And do comedy, and just I miss the ocean there. Like I find myself like longing to, because I used to drive for work, and I would like just a lot of times I'd be on the coast, so I would just like drive, and it's kind of making me emotional, honestly. But
we went. I'm gonna change the subject. We went to a
before I start crying.
Yeah, before you start crying, we went to a sumo wrestling tournament. Dude, that shit was wild. Those dudes
I've never been.
Massive.
Yeah, I've seen them in the airport, but I've never seen them do it.
I don't speak the language. I can't read the signs. I don't know where I'm supposed to walk and not supposed to walk. So we got to the tournament. Everyone started going to the restroom. I have a ticket. I'll find my seat. I didn't. I went down the wrong hallway, and one of those dudes came walking out where he had just like wrestled or whatever.
Oh my God.
And people could have been telling me, hey, you can't come back here.
You wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have known. I didn't know until my wife was like, hey, we're this way. And I was like, oh, okay. And I turned around, but that dude walks by, and I was just like, oh my God.
They're huge.
They're gigantic.
Yes. They're
oh my gosh.
A lot. Was he Japanese, or was he like?
I mean, I think
a
so,
white guy? Because they have a couple white boys in there too.
Yeah, so
like
the one that we kind of chose to support throughout the tournament was a white dude. Not because we're racist against other nationalities.
No, I think I know who you're talking about.
He just reminded us of another character. So that was like the one that we were like, let's go, but he lost. But anyways,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was wild, dude, and it was cool too because like here in the States, and I don't want to keep hating on the States because I really do love this country, but America, man, our wrestling is nuts.
Yeah, it is.
To say the least, because they walk out to that ridiculous music, and you don't even know if they're really fighting or not. They're supposed to wrestle them, but they're like they got a microphone. They're talking about sleep with each other's like girlfriend or wife, or I'm going to sleep with your sister, or whatever.
That's
like it's obnoxious.
They're idiots.
And
it's fun though.
In sumo wrestling, oh yeah, it's a blast. But in sumo wrestling, they wrestle. And whoever pushes the other one out of the circle wins, right?
Yes.
And then they stick around and clean up and get ready for the next match.
Did you see? Did you see when they win all that money they get? Whenever they win, they hand them a stack of fucking envelope. It's an envelope, but it's like the highest levels of it. It can be millions of yen. Well, no, not me, but it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh,
whatever,
wow.
The equivalent, whatever. I don't know, but it's thick. I mean, they hand them thick stacks.
Wow.
And that's their pay if you win. I think they get paid if they lose too, but it's not. They don't give the loser here's the less amount. Yeah.
Well, it was just nuts because there was no strobe lights. There was no hot chick walking around round two. There was none of it. It was very respectful. It was very clean.
It's very ancient. It's an ancient sport.
It's oh my god, and all the lights were on.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't dark. Everyone was lit up normally. Like it was just a wild experience.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Right in the middle.
Oh yeah. It was amazing.
I never got to see one live, but you'd watch the highlights and it'd be on TV a lot.
Yeah.
I remember when I was there, I doubt that he's doing it anymore because this has been a long time ago and he was sort of on his way out then. But there was a guy who had come from North Korea, actually. I think North Korea, but he had maybe, or no, Mongolia. I'm sorry. Forgive me. He's from Mongolia. They're close. Completely different, but close. But he had come and he was very outspoken and boisterous, and so like the media and maybe some of the quote unquote samurai old heads, I guess we'd call them, didn't like his attitude, so they're always trying to like strip him of stuff, and like he was supposed to be on like medical rest or something, but there was like somebody found a video of him like playing soccer back in Mongolia with like people from his village, and they're like, you were supposed to be hurt and all that, like just being. That's when there were times when the I guess we'd call it nowadays systematic racism in Japan would show. Is anytime a foreigner did something wrong, the way that they got fucking demonized is ridiculous. Like honestly, like I'd be like, there's no way they would fucking do that if it was a Japanese guy, or honestly, if it was a white, probably like somebody from like a white country or an but because it's another Asian country, and because this guy speaks his mind and isn't like, sumo wrestlers are really stoic. I think that's part of their whole thing is just be like quiet and a monster, and they're going to rip your head off. But there in the past, there have been some guys that were outspoken who would get fired up and like after they'd won, show emotion. But a lot of the guys just win and they're like, and it's just like, holy shit, this guy's gonna come hard tonight. You know what I mean? He's gonna come all over like 5 girls, because those guys are rich, dude.
Yeah, they
have like the hottest wives. Seriously, they're like gods over there. But I did notice when stuff like that would happen, or like I guess that sort of boisterous, outspoken. It was maybe more against that maybe than his country of origin. I think in sports, the traditional feeling with Japanese people is like the outspokenness. A lot of people don't like it.
Right.
They're like, you're brag. I mean, it's like the people who hate Conor McGregor. It's the same thing. So whoever sports stars, celebrities that would be outspoken or be like, fuck you, fuck the system.
Right.
They would get so demonized. Like there's a part of the population that would support them, but then also like it was less, maybe nowadays it's different. I'm sure with social media now, it's a lot different. I don't keep up with anything over there anymore. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's popular. But that's awesome that you got to see. Did you throw your pillow? Because they throw pillows sometimes.
Mm-mm.
I don't know
any
why.
of that.
They'll like, I don't know if it's something good happens or something bad happens, but sometimes people will throw pillows.
Oh, wow.
As something. I don't know if it's like a congratulatory thing or if it's like a fuck you to the ref.
I don't know. I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It was a tournament. I don't know what that means in relation to just a regular event. So maybe they treat it.
I think they always have tournaments because like one match is so quick.
Yeah.
One match can last 3 seconds, so I think they always have. Because if you fall down, you're done. You either fall down. If you touch a knee, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
If you touch your back, you're done. I think if you touch your elbow, you're done.
Yeah, and if you step out of the circle,
step out of the
you're
ring.
done. Yeah.
I think there was like an old school guy who wasn't like humongous, but he was quick. I can't remember his Take Nohana maybe.
I don't know.
He might be dead now, but he was like the GOAT. And I think when that guy was talking about, that Mongolian guy came around, he was like getting close to his record, a lot of records, so people didn't like that either.
Mm.
It was weird. There's a baseball coach there. I also don't know if he's alive, but he coached the Tokyo Giants. His name was O-H. And I think he was actually Taiwanese born, but he was like the greatest Japanese baseball player. And he was like Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron.
Wow.
And he coached, and he had the home run record. And there was a player, I don't know his first name, but his last name was Bass. And I used to...
Was it you? Are you talking about yourself?
No. There was a...
Did you used to play baseball in Japan? Is that why you went?
No, he played... but I did I did tell people that was my dad and fuck with him.
Oh.
Like, yeah, I'm famous. But it was Bass, and he was chasing O's record and was about to beat it, but they like did... he like swung on it. There's a scene in Mr. Baseball. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah,
with
but it's
Tom
been a long
Selleck.
time.
There's a scene where they're intentionally walking him, and he steps over and hits the ball. And this Bass guy did that, and they called him out. But he hit a fucking home run.
Wow.
But he didn't step on the plate. He was like, I didn't do it. And they're like, yeah, you did. And he was like, fuck you. And they were like...
That's the one where he played for the Dragons, right?
Yeah.
In the movie?
I think that scene's based off something that this Bass guy did. But he was like a home run titan in Japanese baseball too. But they also fucked around with his shit and like made it to where his records didn't... I don't know. It was shady. It was obviously to protect... They didn't want a white boy... They didn't want a white boy taking the record. They didn't. So, I mean, there was definitely some of that weird racist shit then, and I don't think it's as bad now, but it was a thing. And America's way worse. Let's be honest. I'm way more racist, like, probably than most Japanese people. I mean, I'm not racist. I don't hate anybody, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We all come from, like, racist-ass places.
Yeah.
Well, you and I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we definitely do.
Sure. But, like, you know what I mean.
You especially in Pulaski.
Oh, yeah. Shout out P-Town.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do miss it, though. We talked about Japan the whole fucking time.
That's okay. I don't know a lot of white people here that have that Japanese experience. So, like...
That J.E.?
Yeah, that's right. Like we meet... a lot of her friends and have become good friends, and they've grown up there. But just to meet people that just out in the wild that also happen to go spend some time there and come back. Yeah, it's an experience that I can be like, oh man, did you do this? Did you see this? Because otherwise, no one else has.
Yeah. Totally changed subject. We're recording a music video this weekend. It's going to be fun. We're recording it. My band, FBA, we're recording a song. Brandon's shooting it and directing it. So it should be cool. I'm
Yeah, I'm
excited.
excited.
I've only done one other one, but it wasn't like real. We used iPhones, and
Hey, it works.
I mean, it did work. I'll show it to you sometime. I've got it on my work computer. It was for like a work thing. We made a music video and like wrote a song. It
Awesome.
was pretty good for the amount of time we put into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, iPhones though, or whatever phone you use, like
Yeah, they all have great cameras.
Yeah, oh my gosh, dude, they're incredible. Like I look at my first video camera that used like tiny little tapes, and it's garbage compared to what my phone can do.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I bet I got a new iPhone. I got a 13 a couple weeks ago. I bet the camera on it's better than these GoPros.
I bet it is. Yeah,
Probably.
they're amazing.
Yeah. I do sometimes wish they had external storage, but that'll never happen. They'll never do that. They got that iCloud on lock.
Yeah.
But anyway, Brandon, I think we're going to have to finish because we got to go to Louisville to do Planet of the Tapes. Can you tell like people where to find you on Instagram or where you want people to find you, period? Like,
yeah. Everything that I have on Instagram is under Imagine Brandon. It's the word Imagine with no E.
Imagine Brandon.
And then my production company is called Imagine Austin, so it kind of follows that same pattern. There's no E, it's just Imagine Austin.
Wait, there's no E. There's no E in Imagine?
When you look up my name, there's no E. Yeah.
Wait, where would the E be?
Not in the spelling.
So it's IMAGINAUSTIN.
That's it.
Okay, got
It's
it.
the word Imagine with no E.
Got it. The word Imagine has no. I was like, what? Where's the E in Austin? Like I was.
No,
I was getting
yeah.
confused.
Yeah, Imagine Brandon for myself and Imagine Austin for my production company.
Cool.
And we got a podcast that I start recording season 2 on Sunday. It's called Peanut Butter Magic. And it's with my friend Sway Lowe from Tennessee. We go over the highs and lows of DIY entertainment.
Fuck yeah.
So
Yeah, everyone please tune into that. Is that on YouTube?
it is on YouTube and Spotify.
Peanut Butter Magic.
Peanut Butter Magic.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
Yeah.
If you need any help getting it to other platforms, let me know.
Okay.
I don't know if I can help, but I can try.
Yeah, we did Spotify for season 1 just because it was free. So season 2, once we start releasing the episodes,
Yeah.
our plan is to grow that.
I think Apple. I don't know. I'm sure Apple. I mean, that's where it all started, obviously, but that's a big. I like to be in that one too.
Sure.
Those 3, but is there anything else though? Is that?
That's pretty much it.
All right. I'm gonna quickly say my dates. It doesn't matter because it's today. So 26th, I'll be at the East Room in Nashville. 27th, the Bowery Vault in Nashville. 28th, Springwater in Nashville. Those are all open mics. They're not my show. Don't get confused, but I'll be there doing them. So please come out. The 29th, Tipsy Toad, Somerset, Kentucky. That is a showcase. And it's myself, McGregor Lakes, Luke Willoughby. Fuck, who the hell else? I never remember it. Luke, Trina, Drew Blankenship, and then Kushi Aurora will be at that one. Then on the 4th, I'm at a loft, Louisville, for Furnished Person Louisville. 8-7.
Me too.
8. Oh yeah, heck yeah. I think we ran out of something. 8-7 Cobra Nashville with MP Presley. 8-10 Caravan Louisville. 8:13 Reggie's Chicago with FBA. 8:21 Secret Show at my house in Lexington. All right, this has been episode, I think, 5 of maybe 4, I don't remember, of John Bass Podcast. Brandon, please come back and we can talk more shit sometime.
Hell yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Let's get rolling.
Yeah, I think this one shut off.
Yeah, I think it ran out of space. It ran out of